violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video. All right, guys, so I did want to read this story here because I found it quite interesting. Chicago City Council urged to create guaranteed income program for black men, okay? Now, we saw this guaranteed income program go for black women in Atlanta, but now we're looking at the guaranteed income plan for black men in Chicago. And my thing is, if they think this is supposed to curb or slow down the crime, they're going to have another thing coming. So let's get into this article to see the particulars. Okay, Chicago was urged again Thursday to get moving toward granting some form of reparations to descendants of African-American slaves, perhaps beginning with guaranteed minimum income checks focus on unemployed black men prone to violence. Okay, so they're basically saying they are working to give the criminals a check. Okay, this isn't for hardworking black men who are employed and who are doing the right thing but could use a little extra bread to possibly start a new business venture. No, it's for the people who are already not doing right. Okay. In early 2021, Cam Howard, co-chair of the National Coalition for Blacks for Reparations in America, testified virtually at the first meeting of the City Council Subcommittee on Reparations. So, guys, we did talk about reparations in the live stream. If you didn't catch it, make sure you go back to the live streams. YouTube is, in fact, censoring a lot of my content, so it would behoove you to, dig through the files and the archives. Man, I've got a lot of videos in it. And it's, worthy of binge watching, okay? He urged Chicago alderpersons then to use, as reparations model, the redress paid to victims of the John Burge torture era. On Thursday, Howard delivered a similar but more pointed message at the subcommittee's second meeting, perhaps because those two meetings were separated by 15 months of inaction. His PowerPoint presentation focused on Columbia University's study of two crime-plagued Chicago's and communities in Inglewood and West Garfield Park, and the overwhelming number of households in those neighborhoods without a father present. One slide in the presentation listed grim statistics for black male labor force participation in America's largest cities. 12% of men ages 16 to 20 and 28% of men ages 16 to 24. Okay, so that is the participation rate of black men between the ages of 16 and 24. And we have between 16 and 20, there's a 12% labor participation rate. And then between 16 and 24, there's a 28%. So it gets a little better once the brothers get older, but they do say it does not, they say it does rise to 50% for the 16 to 60 age group. So they had to go ahead and use a larger age group to make it get up to 50%, which is, pretty sad in my opinion. We got a lot of black men, young black men, who just don't want to work. Okay, you see that that 16 to 20-year-old range, there's only 12% of black men in Chicago involved in the labor force. Well, actually, it's actually the largest cities in America. So this isn't just Chicago. This is data from the largest cities in America, and you see so many young black men who it looks like just do not want to work because there's no other reason you can't get a job. There's no excuse for not being able to get a job. Okay, anybody can get a job in this day and age. All right, whether it's a busboy, whether it's dishes, you might have to start from the bottom, but hey, everybody is bragging about how they got it from the bottom and got it out the mud. They'll even come on my channel and say, hey, you a silver spoon, you ain't get it out the mud. you know, when I own my own business. Okay. So I don't get to say, oh, you didn't get out the mud. I guess they're saying if you don't act hood, or if you don't act straight up retarded, then, you know, your black card can be taken away at any moment. No wonder so many men end up in survival mode, as Howard put it, working in an informal economy, relying on acts of violence. Next came a slide headline, Reparations as Public Safety. It recommended a guaranteed basic income program that removes black men from the streets and reduces dramatically their dependence on the illegal economy that is steeped in violence. And my thing is, if these dudes wanted to work, then they would. That's the worst part about it. If they wanted to work, then they would. The problem is, you can give them all the money that they want. I mean, if they're just reinvesting in the trap, then that's what it's going to be. It noted the average income for those men is $700 to $900 a month. So a basic income of $600 to $800 would replace the bulk of that. The income would be provided for up to 2 years, and only if the men remain in remedial services, with the goal of eventually moving into the labor force and providing for their children. Good luck with that one, okay? Good luck with turning these guys who are deadbeats into non-deadbeats. You know, they say you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, right? Well, you can't turn a deadbeat into a father, all right? Merrill Challenger Roderick Sawyer, who chairs the Health and Human Services Committee that created the Reparations Subcommittee, has criticized Mayor Lori Lightfoot for using $31 million in federal stimulus money to dole out $500 monthly checks to 500 needy Chicagoans for 1 year. Sawyer was more receptive to the 2-year income program, but only if strings are attached. Okay. There should be some accountability with that. They should do something in exchange for that. Maybe in a evaluation, maybe if needed, some behavioral help, attending meetings or speaking with professionals, and also maybe some work, if you will. Not something major, but something to engage in the community while you're getting this stipend, Sawyer says. I mean, this is truly embarrassing that they're even talking about this. The fact that they are out here giving able-bodied black men handouts is truly embarrassing. Now I could understand, okay, we're trying to, you know, give them some type of reparations. Look, forget all this, $800, $600 a month. Nah, that ain't gonna cut it. Just give me all my money at one time, okay? Give me all my money, because this is not it. Sawyer was asked why so little progress has been made toward reparations in Chicago when the subcommittee was created 2 years ago. The mayor is not supportive, as I would have hoped. A lot of us are willing to go further, but there's been some recalcitrance by an administration that does not think this is the way to go, Sawyer said. I keep pushing. I've been pushing on this for years. I'm going to continue to make this an issue. If we do this correctly, we will see corresponding drop in criminal activity and also health outcomes and other things that we're experiencing in the black community. Stephanie Coleman, 16th co-chair of the Reparations Subcommittee, said a guaranteed basic income program earmarked for African-American men would give some young folks an opportunity to be stewards of their communities and be change agents. If we can find $12 million for gas cards, certainly we can find some resources to really address one of the most vulnerable populations in our city, Coleman said. So my thing is, are the young black men in Chicago the most vulnerable population in the city, or are they making everybody else feel vulnerable? Okay, you know, feel on edge, right? What do they mean by vulnerable? Because from my understanding, these are the super gremlins who are committing a bulk of these crimes in Chicago, which is really sad, man. It just shows the low expectations for the community in general, and those numbers of the 12% and the 28% of the labor participation rate is quite frankly embarrassing. This can really help get our city a better, safer city. Coleman did not hesitate when asked on why reparations in Chicago is moving at such a snail's pace. excuse me, this is the only committee that isn't being supported. There are no resources or policy. We have nothing, she said, especially when compared to a reparations program already proven in Evanston. I hope that our budget department sees that the need is there. I admire and am a little jealous of Evanston because they have laid the groundwork in Chicago. We should be setting the trend instead of following. In November 2019, Evanston made history by establishing a $10 million reparations fund to make amends to the North Suburbs black population for historic wrongs traced to racial inequities. The money will come from a cannabis sales tax. Okay, so, you know, guys were worried about, well, where's the money coming from? Well, I mean, it's coming from legal dope dealers. So that's definitely interesting. Okay, a prime mover in the pioneering effort was former Evanston Alderman Robin Rue Simmons, who spoke at Thursday's hearing just as she did at the first hearing. She noted that more than 100 municipalities have advanced local reparations ordinances. What city more so than Chicago should be advancing reparations for its crimes and harms against the black community? When I led this work in Evanston, I did it looking at a $46,000 household income gap between black and white Evanston. Well, I imagine it is more so in Chicago. In Evanston, we had a 13-year life expectancy difference. The data was enough for us to advance reparations. In Chicago, it's 30 years.
Tonight, there is concern after 2 Chicago police officers were shot on the South Side within a week.
And there's also growing concern over the relationship between the community and police. CBS 2's Stephen Graves explains that's a major focus leading into summertime.
I especially wish it wouldn't happen in Inglewood.
Right now, one thing is top of mind for Daryl Smith with violence prevention group Inglewood Political Task Force, talking to his youth about traffic stops.
To abide to what the police are saying.
He is worried that after suspects shot 2 7th District officers in 2 traffic stops last week in West Inglewood, the fear is twofold: nervous officers approaching cars and anxious people in them.
We try to assure the residents that all police are not bad. And we try to assure the police that all residents are not bad.
Uh-oh. You heard what Daryl Smith said. All police are not bad. Is he cooning, guys? Let me know in the chat. Was that a cooning statement?
Relationship building that can come from events like this. Inglewood's Peace Fest last Saturday. Fatal Perkins with organization Think Outside the Block was a part of the initiative. He sees many CAPS, or Chicago Alternative Policing Strategy officers, come out, but he hopes to see a wider range of officers who patrol the streets attend.
If they happen to have to encounter a community member, there's already a relationship that's built.
And there is the understanding that not everyone wants to associate with police.
You have a lot of people paranoid.
Organizations like Target Area go into neighborhoods.
I wonder who those people are who don't want to associate with police. I wonder what they're doing for money and if they would really benefit from that monthly stipend that young black men are going to or hoping to receive due to the Chicago City Council.
Like Inglewood and take in or mentor high-risk people. Do you think there's a certain group of people who's just not being reached?
There are so many areas of concern that's left out. High-risk participants are being overlooked, or there's not enough service providers or outreach workers that could mentor these guys.
Multi-pronged missions to help better a neighborhood and vital police community relationships heading into the summertime. In Inglewood, Stephen Graves, CBS 2 News.
CBS 2 is reaching out to CPD for an interview with leadership in the 7th District to talk about policing in the area. We have yet to hear back, but we will continue to ask.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
we're a week away from the official start to summer when we typically track a spike in violence.
New at 4:30, we are checking in with organizations hard at work to keep communities and the city safe. Our Tara Molina is live downtown with more on what they're telling us. Hi, Tara.
Hi there, good afternoon. We caught up with a group that's focused on more than just responding to crime. They're proactively working in the city's neighborhoods all year round, but they told me they're prepared to double down this summer.
Heading into the summer, we just try to be proactive, be visible, boots on the ground. You know, it's not just us doing the work, it's a collaborative effort.
Charles DeCurie with the Institute for Nonviolence Chicago on their plans heading into summer. Meeting us outside their Austin office today, a neighborhood that by the numbers sees more crime than any other in the city, bearing the brunt of the more than 37,000 crimes reported in Chicago so far this year.
Damn. And that's only this year. Woo. It's going to be a long summer.
1,585 of them were reported here, with a lasting impact much bigger than any crime scene. That's just one reason DeCurie says it's important to be proactive when it comes to warmer months. They work to identify neighborhood hotspots and then cover them with violence interrupters, responding to crime scenes with resources for the surrounding neighborhood.
Man, and if those violence interrupters are not armed, I fear for their safety. But they really don't understand the level that these super gremlins are on, man. These super gremlins are on demon time.
And hosting pop-up events throughout the summer to give kids, teens, and families safe outlets and spaces.
You know, building relationships is really what this is all about. And everybody that we have, as far as our outreach team and at the table, have relationships in the community.
Now, taking a look at safety throughout the city, we checked in with Chicago police on the city's summer safety plan, but they got back to me and said they don't discuss deployment or safety strategies. For now, reporting downtown, I'm Tara Molina, CBS 2 News.
Thank you, Tara.
Side rapper was killed this morning after a gunman armed with a rifle opened fire on his car. 31-year-old Tristan Hamilton performed under the name FBG Cash.
So it looks like this gang war in Chicago is just heating up. Apparently this guy was an affiliate of the FBG, which I don't know what that stands for. I'm not even going to try and get into the particulars or the details, but it just shows you how violent this genre of hip hop is. The expectation that comes with being an artist, the expectation that comes with being a rapper. Okay. The expectation is death. All right. Straight up. All right. And if you don't die, then you are one of the lucky ones and you're pretty much like ducked off superstar status. You know, a lot of these dudes do bring it on themselves, though, unfortunately. There's so much power in the tongue and there's so much power in your actions. So they're dissing each other on tracks. They're dissing each other online, and they're actually putting in real quote unquote work in the streets and not putting in real work in employment. Okay. And that's the real reason why there's such a low labor participation rate amongst young black men, is because, you know, with exception of that 12% between the ages of 16 and 20 and that 28% between the ages of 16 and 24, you know, a lot of these guys are just resorting to the streets or being rappers, and this is what comes with it. So, you know what it is? I can't really say that this guy is going to rest in peace, because I don't know how much torment that he brought upon people in real life. I don't care if they were his enemies. I don't care if it still is a representation of the life that he lived. So
Police say he was driving near 81st and Ashland when the shooting occurred. A 29-year-old woman who was asleep in the car was seriously wounded. Hamilton was part of a group of rappers known as the Flyboy Gang. Nearly 2 years ago, another member of that group, FBG Duck, was killed on the Gold Coast. His real name was Carlton Weekly. 4 members of the street gang have been charged in that murder.
All right, guys, so when I do these stories, I do like to cover their Instagram pages, and obviously this is a diss to King Von, who was also a serial killer super gremlin in Chicago. Okay, and he's putting up the middle fingers, as you guys can see. Let's see. Oh, wow. So you have people in the comments saying, what happened, Cash? Wake up, Cash. And they're dissing him. And this is a guy, this is a Hispanic guy with children, okay? So, you know, wow, man. And, you know, these girls are laughing at him. Crazy how you gone the next day and they're laughing at him, okay? Dissing him. How you do all this to end up dead. So as you see, sneaking pics by Von Mural, like bro won't hop out and spin, and they're putting the devil emoji. So this is the black culture. Look, this is a black woman saying smoking on Cash, who trying to hit this blunt. So this is what the community thinks about murdering rappers. And whatnot. He thought he snapped, grew up, hate N-words who be fiending for attention. Von finna tear you up in the afterlife. So they're saying that this age terrible. So they're clowning him in the comments section. But this is the type of guy that he was. Music videos, flicking off the camera. Obviously on that hood stuff. There's other videos of him toting guns and whatnot. As you guys can see, the face tattoos, definite super gremlin indicators. He interviewed with Adam 22, okay? Flicking off the camera, doing a lot right there. Trying to make it appear that he has money, okay? And then they're saying how you let N-words clap you. They're laughing. Them N-words came and got you though, bro. Bro, on God, y'all N-words need to drip the visual. Okay. Bro, whatever the F you do, don't stop. Okay, so that was 3 weeks ago. So as you can see, they're pointing guns at the camera. They got a lot of sticks in these videos. And man, it just goes to show that when you're living this type of life, man, this is where it leads. You got people in the comment section clowning them, black people at that. So they are unbothered by the constant murder, crime, and ultimately the super gremlins on demon time in the community.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.